Comeuppance Network. This is how to watch TV.
Chronologically Lost with Joel and Jenna. My name's Joel.
My name is Jenna. We're brought to you by Comeuppance Network. You could find all of our social media links at thisishowtowatchtv.com.
Yeah, check out all the other shows.
I feel like I hear my really loud daughter about to bust into the door.
Yeah, check out all the other shows on Comeuppance Network. We do a show where we explore abandoned buildings. We do another podcast about Game of Thrones, and there's my daily vlog. Jenna's letting her kid in the door right now, so I'm just going to keep promoting our own stuff. Are you going to walk through, Maddie? Because let's make it snappy. The door is locked. You're going to have to unlock it and then lock it again when you walk through. Please lock it again. Thank you. And we're back. So we're here to talk about Chronologically Lost episode 88, 2007, The Island, days 4 to 5. I was going to briefly mention beforehand how awesome season 7 of Game of Thrones was, albeit super short. It wasn't enough stuff. It was really good. I'm not going to talk about anything in detail because you may or may not have watched it, but go out of your way to watch it. It's all been really fun stuff, and it's in the same vein as Lost. If you pay close attention, you can uncover things, and they reward the viewer that way. They do pay off the stuff if you're paying close enough attention. So I felt like it needed not that it needs an endorsement, not that somebody's watching this going, you know what, I've never watched Game of Thrones, but now that you mention it, maybe
it's so
I will.
good. You should watch it. My teenager just started watching it.
Right, that makes
sense. She's like, I hate Joffrey so much. He's the worst.
She also, Jeremy told me, she also goes, I don't even mind looking at boobs anymore because, like, I have them and stuff.
Although he said that they were watching an episode where some guy was like, you know, they drag the guy behind a cart or something. He's naked and his penis is flopping or whatever.
Spoilers.
Yeah, sorry. Shocker. So naked floppy penises. Anyway. And Mackenzie was on the couch behind him, and the penis starts flopping across the screen, and he's like this, like trying to cover it, and then he turns around, and she's asleep. He was like, I was so stressed out that she was seeing the floppy penis, but you know.
Why don't they just have an edited version that you can show your kids?
I know. Well, I mean, she's seen penises before, I'm sure. I mean, she's seen her her little brothers at least. I mean,
that's what they look like in Game of Thrones. They look just like her little brother's penis.
They're pretty floppy and whatever. Like
Day 4.
Hashtag floppy penises.
Yeah, day 4 on the island. Did you get it?
I got it.
She literally got a gnat for one of the first. That's the first time that's ever happened.
Episode 88.
Episode 88.
Nat died.
Nat dead. That did not happen. Anyway, day 4. We started with a flash, and I was super fucking excited to hear that noise. I was like, yes, those people.
I thought they were done.
Yeah, no, they couldn't be. They had to at least tie up 2 more things, which they hit both of them in this episode. Okay. Sawyer just flashed away from seeing Claire give birth, as evidenced here. Locke asked him if he saw something. He's like, it don't matter. It's gone now. He's obviously talking about Kate, right, as opposed to Claire.
Yes.
He's like, did you see Charlie or something? And then Locke asks him again, and I'm not differentiating here. Man and Locke asks him again because he knows when they were before this latest flash happened.
Right.
And he's like, well, how'd you figure that out? The light in the sky. That was from the hatch. He tells him about the night Boone died and how he went out there all desperate and crazy and banging on it. And go, what do you do to me?
Right.
You know. And Sawyer suggests they go interfere with the past to save themselves some trouble. And he's like, Locke's like, yeah, I needed that pain to get me here.
Right.
No, what you needed was that guy to die to get you here.
Correct.
No, I'm wrong. That is not Man and Locke. I am very sorry there. This is Locke. This is legitimately Locke.
That was actual Locke.
Actual Locke. Yes, I'm very sorry for that confusion there. Normally I don't get that shit wrong.
Because he was flashing, so...
Yes, that was real Locke.
So in this episode, we see real Locke, Man and Locke, and Deadlock.
Yeah.
Hashtag, hashtag Deadlock. That's...
and past Locke.
And past Locke.
Yeah.
Wow, we see 4 Locks.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So, present Locke? Is that what we... No, it's not present Locke.
No, Man and Locke.
No, I'm talking about the Locke that's blipping through time. But after Claire gave birth, that guy. He's...
Yeah.
Okay, recent past Locke, and then the other one's way back, because the other one that we see later is the one that was shot by Ethan, and that was earlier in the.
No, that was still during the
was that-
flashes.
oh, that was during the flashes. Shit. Okay, no, I'm wrong
so
about that.
that's past Locke, and then there's Man in Locke, and then there's Dead Locke.
But he absolutely got shot by Ethan.
Yeah, but it was still during the flashes.
Season 4 Locke.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Or season 5 Locke. Noted. Sorry. Miles tells Faraday he just got a nosebleed, but doesn't want to, alert the others and make a big stink out of it.
Has Charlotte already been getting her nosebleeds at this point?
That's
Okay.
why he's asking, because he's like, why her and me? And he's like, I think it has to do with the amount of time you've been on the island. He's like, these yahoos have been here for, 3 months or a couple months, and they're not getting it. So he's like, I just got here. He's like, have you?
Right. So he didn't know
sure?
yet that he had been on the island.
Correct.
Because they hadn't flashed to the 70s yet.
Right.
Okay.
They hadn't stopped the flashing and therefore ended up in the 70s
Right.
yet. Right.
But they hadn't been to the 70s in the flashes yet,
I'm
have
not
they?
sure. I
remember.
can't confirm when all of the flashes happened and where they all went.
I feel like
but
we
don't
could if
remember-
you went back to your notes.
I don't remember seeing that when they were in the 70s. I don't remember a flash happening while they were in Dharmaville.
No, I don't think so.
Right. Okay, so no, there were none. They go to the beach camp. Sawyer wants a Dharma beer. Everything seems to be abandoned. And I was confused at first, but then I realized, oh yeah, duh, this is 2007. This isn't when are they flashing? This is 2007, day 4 back on the island.
Yeah.
This is when they are. It's the first time we've gotten it so detailed of when it's going on. Locke picks up, did you notice it was like a noose that he picked up? It was Vincent's leash.
Yeah.
But it was like a noose.
But I thought he had an actual leash for the most part. When he was on the island, like they had a real leash. So maybe it got lost and then they...
It got lost.
Yeah, whatever. I mean...
maybe, yeah. Yeah.
when he
it's,
picked it up, I instantly thought that it was Vincent's leash.
I know, but it looked like a noose, which is how he ends up dying.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I just thought that
didn't
was
put
kind of
together.
ironic. Faraday notices the Zodiac is gone. That's the little floaty one with the motor on it, right? The little like raft looking thing.
Yeah.
That he was taking back and forth from the freighter. Because that's what he's thinking. Where's the freighter?
But the freighter was... Who's thinking where's the freighter? 'Cause
Faraday.
They all watched it explode.
Faraday didn't, did they?
He would have
I
been
thought
on
they
his
were-
way back from the freighter when it exploded.
Oh, right. That's right. He was on the, so he's wondering where the Zodiac went. Yeah. They notice the outriggers and think maybe they took the Zodiac to get away from them. And Miles finds an Ajira water bottle in the pretty old outriggers. So
So the Ajira flight people came
was
over
Sun
on
and-
those. Sun and...
no. Sun and them went to Dharmaville. That must have been Alana and Bram and them.
yeah, but
her
Sun's
crew.
back with them now.
Well, only at the end of the episode. Sun is with Ben and Man and Locke. She's not with, and Richard. She's not with Alana and Bram.
Oh, you're... Okay, yeah.
They're separate.
Alana and Bram are the ones
Frank have the case.
Yes, those 4 are the ones that rode over on those things.
Right. Yeah, because they were using it later on. At the end of the episode, they
So
used it
that doesn't
to...
really make sense then. If
Why?
they've already... Unless then Alana gets back in those... How are they all using the same boats at the same time? Because...
Okay, well, let's think. Why are they using the same boats at the same time? What do you mean?
Because Alana and Lapidus and all them they're in those things out in the middle of the water shooting at them.
No.
What do you mean no?
I mean, you're wrong. That's not what happened. Did I read this thing last week? And if so, did I do it on air or was it after
Yes,
the
you
podcast?
did. I think it was after, but I thought you read it on air. But hold on. So because I guess when you get to the point where they're all on the things going and they're getting shot at.
Well, that's right here.
Okay.
So, who came in these and someone's like, others? And asking Juliet and she says she
But
doesn't
it would
know.
have been Alana and Lapidus.
Right. No, I'm just saying they were asking. The characters were
Right.
trying to figure it out. But yeah, it was Alana, Lapidus.
All those people.
Yeah, all those people. So they climb in the outrigger and start paddling. And Sawyer tells Juliet he saw Kate before the last flash. And she's like, that was 2 months ago, when Claire gave birth. And he's like, time travel's a bitch. So the outrigger starts shooting at them in 2007. That's the thing that confuses me. because these people.
I was not confused by it at all. I was thinking it was Alana and Lapidus and their group shooting at Sawyer and Juliet. Juliet turns around and shoots Lapidus in the shoulder.
No, Lapidus didn't get shot. Lapidus was knocked out. They hit him with an oar.
But he was bleeding in the shoulder. I guess I just assumed that
No,
that's
he didn't
what happened.
get shot. Okay, now I may be confused here because there may be. Shit, I've been wanting to talk about this for so long, and I'm.
Thing.
But I know, but that's the confusing part to me is that did we see that in the 1800s? Did we see them flash and then get shot at? And they shot somebody. Remember? They shot. I think it was during a storm or something like that. I swear there was another outrigger scene because that was this. That was this note, that the journal
Did
entry
they
from
flash
the 1800s.
during the outrigger? Because I don't remember there being a flash in this.
Yeah,
when we
they
watched
flashed out of it. Sawyer was like, "Oh, thank God!" He like shouted up at the sky as it was flashing white. They were getting shot at. His paddle got shot.
Yeah.
And then they flashed out of there.
And then was Alana and them behind them still? Or
Well, but again, I'm confused now because as far as I knew, it wasn't Alana and them. It was these people. So what I'm thinking is there were two incidents where they were shooting at somebody on an outrigger. I have to confirm that because that's going to drive me nuts.
So did we watch it all back to back? I guess I didn't make notes at this point, but like, not that I ever make notes, but.
Okay, so this is the outrigger scene here. I'll put this in.
Battle! I think they want their boat back! Oh! These your people?
No, they yours?
Shut up and keep battling! Little help! Little help! Battle harder! They're getting closer! Thank you, Lord!
My issue with that is that they're leading us to believe that the people from the Black Rock traveled forward to 2007,
Right, that's what they're saying.
which makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense in the sense that the way we understand time travel, it doesn't work like that. Like, for example, what they're saying is almost like Minkowski or Desmond, where they were flashing away.
Yeah.
But if they're flashing away, their body has to be present in the place they're
Right.
flashing to, I would think.
Well,
Like, I'm
or
not
are they
really
saying that
sure.
in that point in time, the thing got off kilter and they're also flashing through time? And
It's not that they're flashing through time. It's not that they're flashing through time. They're implying that they went through. Okay, think of it this way. Remember, they said the results can be unpredictable if you don't stay on the bearing,
yeah,
and that's what happened to Desmond. He got all wonky because Frank was having a hard time keeping on the bearing.
yeah.
So that's when he started flashing. So I think what they're saying is that if you go through that, remember the windows that Eloise was talking about?
Yeah.
Maybe they went through a window and
And
came back through it.
I guess.
I don't really have any
Okay,
other
so-
explanation to justify how they got from the past to the future.
Yeah.
But they were talking about how it went from day to night, I'm pretty sure, or night to day. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, an away team of sick men was launched at first light in an attempt to get to the island with hopes of determining our location. Only one returned alive. He seems in a deep shock, muttering about exchanging musket fire with another vessel, which promptly disappeared in a flash of bright light, of heavenly light. He went on to claim that after hours of traversing the island, his 5 crewmates simply jumped overboard as if lemmings and had no degree of coaching could persuade them back into the boat. They drowned, every one. There will be no more away teams. So they didn't say the thing about day turning into night, but
No, that was probably just Lapidus. Okay, so they're saying that from the Black Rock in the 1800s, the 6 people got in a boat and went.
There's final words here. Keen observers would also have picked up on the almost fatal flaw in this answer by the producers. There was indeed no bloop just before we saw the other outrigger, and based on the state of the beach camp, we know it happened sometime shortly after it had been deserted. It is 2007. But as they did not get a chance to revisit the scene in the final season, they used the explanation that it was time flashes caused by the ship and outrigger being stuck just inside the pole of the island, an acceptable if slightly far-fetched answer. Jorge Garcia is also on record claiming the answer was in the original script, though he's never revealed who it was. It's evident, however, that that answer had to change when they didn't revisit it, with the Black Rock crew invented to fill the blank. One thing we will never know is the specific identities of all 6 people involved. However, it would seem those names would add no value anyway.
Right.
But so that's, that's one of the things that
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on from that awesome scene, that awesome tie together that I've been wanting to know about forever, and it sort of explains it, but not all the way.
Yeah.
Richard Alpert is working on a boat in a bottle that looks like the Black Rock, and says somebody comes up and tells him that he's here. So this is the lock Alpert thinks he knows.
Right.
The Mannin lock. He thinks that's the lock that he's supposed to meet in the 50s or whatever, right?
Yes.
Because I don't know how he would know, though. I don't know. It just occurred to me that maybe that's the one he thinks he's meant to be. At the time, anyway. I mean, by the end of the episode, he knows he's not. But,
right.
Locke brought a boar for dinner and says it's been a while. And as Man in Black, how long has it been since he's seen Richard Alpert? And maybe that's what he was meaning. He just didn't say it that way.
Well, it would have been...
I mean, the 1800s when he last saw Isabel. Was it all the way back then on the Black Rock? It's nice to see you out of those chains. Yeah, that's the last time they talked. And so in the next episode, when he tells him that, when Man in Locke says that to Alpert, he realizes who it is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's going on. Alpert says it's been 3 years for him, and Locke says they have an errand to run. He notices there's something different about him, and he's like, I have a purpose now. So Alpert sees Ben and Son, and Ben explains to Son why these are Locke's people, not his. He's the leader now. He tells her about Richard Alpert, an advisor for a very, very long time. Son approaches Richard asking if he was there in 1977 and asks about the picture. And he's like, yeah, I was there 30 years ago. I remember meeting them very clearly because I watched them all die. A lie.
Yeah.
That did not happen. That just simply did not happen. I don't care what you say. Richard Alpert did not watch them die. The only thing he could be meaning is he saw them disappear when the bomb supposedly went off, but...
No, I thought he was referencing when the purge happened.
No. Oh. No, but she specifically said Jack and Hurley and, Jin, and I watched them all die. I mean, maybe he's thinking of the purge, but he can't be that aloof that he doesn't know that those people weren't already gone by that time. I mean, maybe he didn't hang out with the Dharma Initiative and he only met them right away in the 70s and went away and didn't see how it all played out.
Yeah,
so
but wouldn't he have remembered them from... I don't know. If he watched them all die...
He's not traveling through time, though.
I know, but if he watched them all die in the 70s when he met them in 2004, don't you think he would have been like, holy shit?
Yeah, and he probably was. And I mean, so to speak, like that's one of those undercut things that,
But had Richard Alpert ever met Jin and Jack and Kate? I'm not certain. I don't remember him ever really encountering them.
So we go to the beach, and Son stares at the ring, and Man in Locke offers her some water, and she asks if he thinks they're all dead. And he just kind of blows her off, and then asks if Richard has the compass. Man in Locke asks Ben to come with, and Ben thinks he's worried about leaving Ben with his former people. He's like, you think I'm going to stage a coup? He's like, I'm not afraid of anything you can do anymore. And he's like, well, in that case, fuck it, I'll come.
Right.
Man in Locke says he'll find a way to save our people if it's possible. That's what he ends up replying to Son about it. Then we get another flash, and Locke flashes after. Was he shot by Ethan? He was shot by Ethan, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He got shot by Ethan because he was flashing to the past. right? Prior to this flash, where they came from.
Was it at the temple? Where were they at in that flash?
Well, they were at the hatch. But we only saw where they landed, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Prior to this, Locke was climbing up the thing and got shot in the leg by Ethan.
Okay.
But that was the past from the plane crash.
Right.
It was before they got there. So then he's bleeding out, and then he flashes to 2007, day 4 on the island, which, okay, that's weird, isn't it? That they were in the same day twice, randomly.
Yes.
That they were in their outrigger, then flashed away, and then flashed back at some point.
Yeah. So the same day.
Yeah, interesting. Well, no, it was actually earlier. This is before because Sawyer's shirtless.
So
this was
well,
before
maybe
he
because
took
he
the
was
shirt.
wet.
Remember? No, he took the shirt from somebody a little bit into the flashes. So this is one of the earlier flashes.
I was expecting them to see the fire on the beach where they were getting the arrows, flaming arrows at them. Did we already see that?
Yeah, that was
that in the
in-
past. Okay.
I mean, that was in that was 2004. So it's nighttime now. Somebody asks Faraday, "When are we now, whiz kid?" He's like, "We're either in the past or the future."
Right.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah, that really
No
narrows
shit.
it down.
It's not possible we're in the present, just
Right.
to clear that up. Charlotte asks if Miles thinks Widmore's looking for them, and he's like, it took him 30 years to find it last time. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Juliet finds the hatch blown up just like they left it. Sawyer wants to go back to the beach since the camp is back. And they're like, it could be gone by the time you get there. Who knows when we're going to flash again? And they want to warn themselves. And Faraday's like, look, you can't do that. Whatever happened, happened. Even if you try, you'll fail, or
Right.
it will just end up the way it always ended up. If you did interfere, then you always he didn't say
Yeah.
that much, but
Well, no, he explained the string. Time
Right.
is like a string.
no, he said street. I thought he said string
No,
too.
he
I
said
watched.
string.
He said you can never build another street. That was when I realized he said street, not string. He said you can go both ways on a street,
Oh my God, I thought
but
he
you
said
can't
string.
there can never be a new street.
Oh.
Because I was thinking, how's he going? You can go both ways on a string. I mean, you can.
Well, you
I
can
guess,
on a
but
string.
yeah.
You could go both ways, but there can never be another string, which is where the that other show that I really like that I always talk about, The Continuum.
Okay.
There's multiple
Strings. or
multiple
universes.
strings.
Multiple streets. Yeah.
If you make if in that one, if they change something, then it like veers off into, well, if you made that decision, then that one.
Oh,
and if
okay.
you
So
made
you're
this
seeing it play out
yes,
multiple ways.
which is
Gotcha.
cool.
Sawyer asks how he knows, and he's like, I spent my whole adult life studying space-time, and the journal contains everything he's ever learned about the Dharma Initiative. I bet that would be an interesting...
Can we read that?
Right, can
you
I just have that, please?
Let me know what that says.
He knows what's happening, and they can't stop it. So we go back to the jungle, where Alfred asks Locke where Locke has been for the last 3 years, and he says last he knew he disappeared. They were sitting talking, and he was just gone. And Locke is going to show him where he went. And after that, he'd like to go see Jacob. Ben's like, that's not how it works. And he's like, I'm the leader, aren't I? Because we're fucking going. Otherwise, you're fired,
right
basically.
now, you're fired.
So they're almost to the plane. Man in Locke shows them the Beechcraft, and he tells Richard he's got 3 minutes to get this right. A man's going to walk out of the jungle. He's been shot in the leg, and he gives him supplies to get the bullet out. And we get the split screen. It got a little crazy
It
here for a
did.
minute. You're going to need to tell him he has to bring everyone who left back to the island, and when he asks how to do that, you tell him he's going to have to die. And then we hear Locke limping out of the jungle, and Ben's like, who is it? He's like, me. So then Locke from the past goes into the plane and finds a belt thing to tie off his leg, and he sits down and Albert comes into the shot. So I'm sort of confused on what we saw in the past and what we were just seeing being revealed in season 6 of that interaction. Like, I know that we saw the behind the scenes of it, so to speak, the Man and Locke and Ben side in season 6, and we didn't see that when we first saw that. Oh, wait, so when would that have been? That would have been when he was flashing. So that would have been season 5. So it wasn't even that far back. It was only a one season thing. Damn, I thought that was like first season stuff for some reason.
No.
Okay, that makes sense. Locke asks what's happening, and he says, you're bleeding to death. And he says he has to get the bullet out. He's like, who told you there was a bullet? You did. Like, that stuff. Was that in season 5?
Yeah.
He said, you did, John.
It had to be.
Yeah, okay.
And we were like, what?
He's like, well, you will So that should have given it away a little bit, like that kind of a line.
Yeah.
It was Ethan who shot him. Locke asks where he is, and then he asks Alpert where Alpert went when the sky lit up. He's like, I didn't go anywhere. You did. He gets the bullet out, and Locke's confused. He says, next time we'll see each other, I'm not going to recognize you. Give me the compass. And then that's where we get the compass loop, which is where the fuck did the compass come from? Because there is no start to it. Locke gives it to Alpert, who gives it to Locke, who gives it to Alpert, who gives it to Locke. It just goes in circles.
Who had it? Yo, you don't remember who had it first? Is that what you're saying?
There is no first. Locke gives it to Richard Alpert in the in 1950, 1954, when he or whatever, when they flash there, he gives him the compass, and then he gives it to Locke, or he gives it to Alpert to give back to Locke.
When Locke was a kid.
No, just now in this scene.
I know, but at some point, Richard Alpert gave it to.
He didn't give it to young Locke. He tried to, and he didn't take it. He said, which of these things are yours? And he didn't grab it. So he was confused by it. But there is no origin for the compass. The compass started in the earliest time we know. It was given to Locke by an adult. I mean, it was given to Alpert by an adult Locke. Flashing through time. Then Richard Alpert had it from the 50s all the way till 2007. And right here, he gives it to Locke, who then gives it to Alpert in the 50s because he's blipping through time.
Yeah.
So there's no origin for the compass. And the mind fuckery of how did Man and Locke...
I thought it was Locke.
How did this
begin
happen?
With.
This had to happen. I know that whatever happened happened, but this event that we're seeing right here had to happen before Locke ever left the island to die. Or else he never would have left the island to die. And if he never left the island to die, Man and Locke never exists.
Right.
So if Man and Locke would never exist, how the fuck does he already exist so that he can tell him
that he has to die? Just by the fact of the convenience of them flashing forward in time.
Yeah, but,
so that they
but
could
how?
play with it.
If they flash forward in time, why the fuck is Man and Locke there? It hasn't happened yet.
Well, but he made it happen. He made sure it happened.
I know that's one of the most confusing things in the whole series to me is how did that order of events
Because
go?
he's been waiting around for 5 billion years to make sure this shit happened.
Right, but he wouldn't. It would have had to succeed before he could put the piece in place that would make it succeed.
No.
The piece that made it succeed is Alpert saying to Locke, you have to die. You have to bring them back, and you have to die. That's what made this plan succeed, and it was told to him from succeeded Man and Locke.
Yes, but
what?
Maybe it was a coincidence.
What?
The fact that, like, maybe Locke came back dead, and then he took advantage of the fact that he was dead. Man and Locke got in Locke, and then went back, and then
but
he knew he was flashing forward, so then he said,
so I never looked at it from
die.
that angle, but I never thought about that. But it already happened, so why would he have to
have to die? He did die.
Right, but why would he have to get involved if it already happened? I guess is what I'm thinking.
Because he wanted to reassure that it would happen.
Interesting thought. I never thought of it from that angle, so maybe it's that simple. I mean,
I don't know.
Simple, you know what I mean? So we go to a triple split screen, and Ben comments to Man and I'm going to go through each of the three. Ben comments to Man and Locke, this must be quite the out-of-body experience. And he's like, something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is something like that, isn't it?
Kind of.
Ben says his timing was impeccable, and he's like, the island told me. He's like, yeah, and yet the island didn't tell you where Jacob was, or you wouldn't need Alpert. Yes.
So, but why wouldn't Man and Locke be able to find Jacob?
He would. He was using Alpert.
Okay. Because I was thinking he would know where his brother is.
Right. Locke tells him he's never seen You've never seen Jacob, have you? Like, he figured it out right then. Now, the rest of the group that's flashing through time looks down at the hatch. Miles asks what the hatch was, and they're like a Dharma Initiative station where you had to push the button every 108 minutes. And then the other one, Alpert tells Locke, they made it off the island, and you have to convince him to come back. How? You're going to have to die, John. Flash. And then we get Ben and Man and Locke. Look on as Locke disappeared. He's like, where'd you go? He's like, to give Richard his compass back.
Yeah, he went back to the 50s or something
to give it right back to him, which is insane. I mean, it couldn't have been the next one because Locke wasn't limping around right there, necessarily, and then got to meet up with young Widmore and all that shit. That was a little bit later, but yeah. Alpert says Locke seemed pretty convinced about the dying part, and he's like, good thing that didn't have to happen. He's like, yeah, actually it did. It totally died.
Right.
Ben and Richard share a worried look. At the others' camp, Richard is going to have a tent prepared for Locke, and they'll go in the morning, and Richard's like, can we just talk privately? And Locke's like, I want to talk to everybody, and let's fucking go now. So he says,
Because I'm dead and I don't need to sleep,
Right.
so let's just go.
Right. He's like, hello, my name is John Locke. I've been told that for some time you've been accepting orders from someone called Jacob, but no one's actually seen him. He's sure there's a good reason his whereabouts are kept secret. He just doesn't know what they are, or what the reason is. And Man and Locke wants to know who he is. If there's someone telling us what to do, we should know who he is. And Sun wants to go because Locke says Jacob can tell them how to bring Jin back. You know, so she's hook, line, and sinker. He's going right now to see Jacob and wants everyone to come with, making himself a man of the people.
Right.
A man in Locke
Everyone's
of
like,
the people.
yes,
Yeah, they're like,
let's
fuck
go.
yeah, patting him on the back
Awesome.
like he walked into him. It was
Thanks
like,
for being so open
like,
with us.
thank you for finally not being like Ben.
Yeah.
And Richard thinks Locke is going to be trouble, and Ben's like, why do you think I tried to kill him? Good point. Yeah, I see why. We go to day 5. So day 4, over. Everyone is marching down the beach. They're playing a sort of villain version of Hollywood and Vines.
So
Did you notice
good.
that? It was like a slower version.
Like, oh, yes. Yep, so good.
They're giving us so many clues in retrospect that he is not Locke. And God, it felt like he was not Locke for a long time.
It really did.
And it isn't very long.
It was like a day.
Yeah.
Maybe a day and a half.
4 days.
Oh, okay, 4 days.
Yeah. Well, day 5.
But did they really meet him on day 1? I guess
back
they
on
did.
the island? Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone's marching down the beach. We get the slow version. Ben says Richard had some concerns about the pilgrimage to Jacob. And he's like, are you going to be a problem, basically? And Ben's like, no, I'm here to follow and help you reunite your people. And he's like, I don't give a shit about reuniting my people. You know, I lied to Sun. I'm going there to kill Jacob.
Yeah.
And Ben just, like, stops and is, like, big-eyed all of a sudden for the first time ever. They continue marching on by the rocks, or on the rocks by the water, flat, weird rocks. I call them the Desmond rocks.
Yeah.
Man and Locke says to take 5. Still a ways to go to get to Jacob. So,
But he sounds like he knows at this point.
Right.
Like, I know I'm going, so let's just break here.
right. So he's the leader, and the leader answers to Jacob. And Ben admits to Sun that he never met Jacob. And Richard asks about Ben killing Locke. And he's like, how are you alive? And Richard says he's been here a while, and he's seen things that he can barely describe, but he's never seen someone come back to life. Bullshit. He saw Isabel.
Didn't he? Yeah, but she die?
She was Man in Locke. I mean, she was Man in Black at the time.
Yeah.
She was Man in Isabel.
Didn't
There was another man inside his wife.
Ew. No. Didn't Richard Alpert, or wasn't he there when they killed Saeed and then brought him back? Or did that never
hasn't
happen?
happened yet.
Oh.
Nope.
But what about Ben? Didn't they kill Ben and bring him back when he was a kid? To erase his memories of Saeed
Wait.
in the water? I thought that's what they did.
Right. But he wasn't dead. He changed because he was saved by them. That's all they said. He wasn't dead and then brought back to life. I think that's what he's meaning. Like, if you were legitimately dead, how the hell did you come back to life?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Let's see.
Because he's not alive. That's how.
Right. Locke says he's never seen someone not age. And he's like, I'm that way because of Jacob. And he thinks Jacob is the reason that Man and Locke is not in the coffin anymore. He's like, that's why I'm going. I want to thank him. Good buddy of mine. Yeah, we're good friends.
Oh, so much.
Then they have to deal with the rest of the Ajira people. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, you know what I mean. So meaning Alana's crew, right? Not the ones that are there with them.
Yes, he's
Or
pulling.
is he talking about that?
He's pulling an imp move here, where he tells the different stories to different people to see who's lying or who's going to tattle.
He's just trying to. Okay, I gotcha. So let's see if he'll go and tell.
Yeah, like,
else
he's going to kill all the Ajira people. No way, he said he was going to kill Jacob.
Right,
Like,
no way, we're the Ajira people.
Yeah.
No way, I'm Jacob. What are you doing here, Jacob?
you're going to send my daughter to Dorne?
Right.
What?
On one of the other outriggers, because it was not the one that we saw already.
Yeah, apparently not.
Frank is playing asleep, and as Alana's crew pushes it ashore.
So he just has blood on his shoulder from getting hit
With the oar.
in the head?
Yeah. It's just like blood onto his white shirt.
Okay.
I mean, he could have it on him from the pilot next to him. You know, the
Oh,
co-pilot
yeah.
that might have been splattered. I don't know.
Well, he did. He got
They might need Frank, she says, just because he doesn't know the answer to the question doesn't mean he's not important, and that's the what lies in the shadow of the statue. Bram is asking if he thinks Frank is a candidate, and then she notices he's awake, and he's like, "I've been awake long enough to wonder what I'm a candidate for." He asks who they are. They say they're friends. They lift the crate, and Frank asks what's in it. They show him. Oh, terrific!
Right.
So Manilock and crew are. Manilock asks Ben why he hasn't told Richard about his plans for Jacob yet, and he's like, "I assumed you want to keep that a secret." He's like, "That never stopped your ass before. You
Right.
are Mr. Conniver." Ben says he started thinking differently about things when his dead daughter talked to him. Now, he played this pretty convincingly.
He
Manilock
did.
is like, "Wait, when did that happen?
Wait, tell me all about it.
When
I
was
never knew that.
When did that happen with me? I mean, your daughter." He says, "So you're willing to do whatever I say, no matter what it is?" He's like, "Yes." He's like, "I guess I won't have to convince you after all to kill Jacob." Interesting. I mean, he's playing the biggest player on the island, so he's the original Ben.
Yes.
Back at Alana, Frank wishes he never saw what was in the box. They need to show it to someone to let them know what they're up against. And Bram tells Frank we're the good guys. He's like, "Yeah, in my experience, the ones who go out of their way to tell you that usually are the bad guys."
Yeah.
And they arrive at Jacob's cabin. They notice the ash line broken. Alana goes in, looks around, and she finds a knife stuck in the tapestry on the wall. And she's like, "He isn't here, hasn't been for a long time. Someone else has been using it." So they burn it. Frank points out they could burn the whole jungle, and nobody pays attention.
Right. But why did they have to burn it?
Because it's being used for reasons that it shouldn't be. You know, I don't know. That's all I can think.
Seems like a waste.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. They see the tapestry has a statue on it, that was really cool.
Yes.
And they head to the statue, but stop by the beach camp on the way, and they take a rest. Ben is moping, enjoying his alone time. And Manilock points out the quarantine door to the hatch sitting behind them and says, that's where we first met.
Yeah.
And Ben's being super shitty to him here. I mean, I get it. He's like mad that he's going to have to kill somebody for him, but...
I mean, not like he's never killed anybody,
Right.
so whatever.
So he asks what happened at the cabin, and he's like, "Look, I was talking to an empty chair. I was pretending, and then I was surprised as you were when something
Shit started
actually happening." You
So,
know.
but that was just Manilock screwing with them because
Right.
the bash was broken, so he was able to get in and
Right.
screw with them.
Exactly. Ben wants to know why Manilock wants him to kill Jacob, and he's like, "Despite your loyal services to the island, you got cancer, you watched Alex die, and your reward is to be banished, all in the name of a man you've never met. Why the hell wouldn't you want to kill Jacob?" I mean, good points.
Good place.
Solid.
Yes.
Son goes over to Claire's tent and lifts up the crib, and she finds Charlie's ring. Ironic that she finds a ring of someone who died. Considering that's how she knew her husband was alive still? The ring? She thought he was dead? I don't know, I just thought of all the people that could have found a ring. She's been holding a ring, and then she finds the drive shaft ring.
I was thinking, why did Claire never find that ring? Had she already abandoned the...
Yes. We last saw her in the cabin.
Yeah, but Charlie put the ring in there on top of Aaron, didn't he?
No, he set it in the crib after they were gone.
Oh, they were already gone?
Yeah.
Okay, so
He
she
put-
never
yeah.
went back there.
Right.
Okay.
On the move again, they arrive at the statue, and he's like, "It's a wonderful foot, Richard," but
Right.
he's like, "That's where Jacob lives." And then he's been in a big fucking hurry all day, and they wait till nighttime.
Right,
He's just
now
standing
we're
there.
going to just stare at it for like 7 hours.
Yeah, well, we can't go in while it's sunny.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
We'd actually be able to see inside.
Right.
So, and then he has the audacity to say he's tired of waiting. Son asks what happened to the rest of the statue, and Ben's like, "It was like that when I got
now, I feel like somebody was lying saying that Jacob wasn't there because at some point he said, "Where is Jacob? Is he back? Is he available? Let's go." Like, I'm tired of waiting. I took it as...
here." No, I don't think he was not there. I think he was... I don't know why they were waiting there for so long.
I feel like Richard Albert was just waiting. He was saying,
Maybe.
"Oh, He's not home right now.
Right.
Like,
He's sleeping.
I'm
so.
pretty sure there's nobody home. I don't see a car in the driveway.
Right. So I thought at the time that Ben was lying about the statue being not like, already like that when he got there. Because he was like, no, that definitely happened when the bomb went off. But as we found out in season 6, that is not the case.
Mm-hmm.
And episode 2 of this show. Does he expect her to believe him? Not really. Not really bothered.
Don't care.
Ben, Manlock, and Richard go to see Jacob, and he's like, look, only the leader can request an audience, and there can only be one leader. And then they pulled the biggest, not fuck you to the audience, but acknowledgement of the audience or people's concerns.
Yeah.
So, like, you seem to be just making up these rules as you go along. Like, that's people criticize the show for doing. If Jacob has a problem with it, then we can work it out.
Yeah.
So
We'll just kill him.
Richard opens the door and he's like, tell him I said hello. So he's being a little bitch and doesn't want to go in and talk to Jacob. He probably doesn't want to get live forevered.
I mean, I guess. That would be ideal. The ideal scenario would be to live forever. Except for the fact that you have to watch all your family and friends die.
His stopped because of the cork. Interesting. So that was like it's the magic of the island, so to speak. Okay. Richard, so they go inside and Ben assures Manlock he can and will kill him, and he's like, things will be different once he's gone. So Sun's outside waiting, and she asks Richard for some alcohol, and he doesn't have any.
Right.
Alana's crew shows up, and they ask for Ricardus. He's like, it's Richard, actually. No, it's Ricardus. It's definitely Ricardus.
Well, but he goes by Richard now.
Yeah, but it's not... If your name was Jennifer, and somebody called you Jenna, wouldn't you be like, actually, it's Jennifer?
Not if I go by Jenna.
I don't know.
No,
sorry, opposite.
No. I understand.
It doesn't work with that example.
Back in the day, he was called Ricardus because that's what...
Oh, shit, so he's making the difference between on-island, live-forever guy and the guy that was with Isabel.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. They ask him what lies in the shadow of the statue, and he says some shit in another language. I mean, I guess I can look up what it is. Let's see. The question was asked, and Richard said a bunch of shit. This is Latin for "He who will save us all."
They could have just said Jacob.
Right, but it wasn't. Is it Jacob? Is Jacob the one who saves them all?
No, but he lies in the shadow of the statue.
He lies in the statue.
That's
not
all.
The shadow of it.
Well, whatever.
Oh, so the words don't matter. I mean, I always bugged by that. The shadow of this statue is cast this way. It's not in the
That's
foot.
just because the light is over there right now.
Right. The sun moves. Why say the shadow part is all I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. Why shadow of the statue? It just occurred to me that it's stupid.
I don't know.
You know? Anyway, let's see. So... Alana introduces herself and shows Albert what's in the box. And
she doesn't introduce herself as Jacob's daughter.
No, she does not.
Okay.
They dump out Locke's body, and they reveal it the same way they did at the end of season 4 by pulling up over. Yes. That was a cool shot. He was in the cargo hold of the plane, and they're like, if this is Locke, who's in there? Then we cut to in there. And Ben and Locke walk into the room. And I love the way you can see up the broken ankle of the foot. I never noticed that before. Cool. That was awesome. Let's see. Ben checks out the tapestry, and Jacob's like, you like it? I did it myself. Takes a long-ass time when you're making the thread, but I suppose that's the point.
Yeah.
Meaning, I have to kill time because my life has
been here forever. Yeah.
Jacob says to Man and Locke, you find your loophole. He's like, and you have no idea what I've gone through to be here. Boom, you didn't make it. Nearly made it without the...
With a yawn? Yeah, no.
Ben asks if they've met before, and he's like,
maybe.
Yeah. Man and Locke tells Ben to do it, and Jacob talks to Ben and says, whatever he's told you, you have a choice. He's like, what choice? He's like, you can do what he asks, or you can just go. Leave us to discuss our issues. He's like, oh, so now after all this time, you've decided to stop ignoring me. 35 years I've lived here, and all I ever heard was Jacob, Jacob, Jacob. And, Richard brought me lists from you, and I always followed your orders blindly. And I did as I was told. But when I dared to ask to see you myself, I was just told that I have to wait. I have to be patient. But when he asks, he gets marched here as if he were Moses. And why him? You know, what was so wrong with me? What about me? He's like, what about you? Like, doesn't give a shit about them.
Not at all.
And Ben stabs the shit out of him, and Jacob mumbles, they're coming. Right before Manilok pushes Jacob into the fire, and they're like looking through the flames, and then lost.
Yes.
I mean, great episode. It's cool to get to be getting to this stuff because it felt a lot like the On Island season 6 stuff was a little hollow compared to what it was like before. But I get that it's just the island isn't as active as it was before. In 2004, the others were in full effect in the barracks. You know, it felt like the island was inhabited more, whereas now it feels deserted.
But they're all living there. They're all just hiding.
They're just in the temple, right? But it feels like,
yeah.
And Jack
Except
and
for
Kate and Sawyer
Rose and Bernard are somewhere.
Jack, Kate, Sawyer, Hurley, Jin, all Miles, all of them are in the 70s still, yet to come back to present day. We're only seeing them because of the flashes in this episode, but I wonder if that's it for the flashes. I
really feel like they've got to be over.
I mean, I love it so much. It's my favorite part of the series, for sure. And that shot when they showed Jacob's the statue foot, I'm like, fuck yes,
so good.
That's the stuff I live for in the show. I don't know why. So we'll be back next week to talk episode 89. We only have a few episodes left, like 12 or 13 left, I think. Huh, that's interesting.
We should be done before Christmas.
We should be done before Christmas. Okay. Well, subscribe on iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review, please. It gets other people to watch the show somehow. I don't know. Subscribe on YouTube. Tell other people. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Meet us back here next week because...
This is how to watch TV.
See you later.
Bye.
All these memories in my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind. I'm still a secret lemonade drinker.